Swadee Cup. Welcome to NBT World's The Fireside. I'm Benjamin Ruchopakan.
And I'm Warisa Nidanat Komon. Every week we have a fireside chat exploring what's going on in Thailand, diving deep into our latest obsessions.
Now, this week's obsession is love. Or more specifically, how Thailand does love. Valentine's Day might not be Thai in origin, it's a St. Valentine's, but we've fully made it our own, I think. I think just like every holiday, there's those memes about how like Thailand is a Buddhist country, but the way we celebrate Christmas is it's ubiquitous, it's everywhere. And I think Valentine's Day is a major holiday for us as well. You can see it in our music, you can see it in our movies, our food, and all the amazing destinations around the world that have amazing promotions, So this episode isn't gonna be like a dating guide, but more like a cultural walkthrough. There's some cultural touchstones that are worth sharing with someone that you hope to be your Valentine's. A few songs you might share with that special someone, a few movies you might plop down and do a little Netflix and chill. So this is Valentine's Day through the Thai lens.
Right. So before we dive deep into the Thai romance on screen, we have to first start with music, right? And if you listen to any Thai songs on the radio, in the bar, especially in the clubs, right?
Oh, yeah.
They always have this kind of jingle or this way of sticking to you a little bit. And they're emotional, but not dramatic for dramatic's sake. But a lot of them sit in that space between longing and also restraint.
I think so too. I think that there is a certain streak of sincerity, especially in older Thai love songs, that they really wear their heart in their sleeve. And I think that there's so many of those where, I've heard them time and again. Like maybe I haven't heard them, I haven't sought out those bands directly, but because I've just absorbed it, that I think that there's such earworms, So they're really emotional and like a gut punch in many ways, and it can really pay off to learn Thai. I think that once you learn Thai, you start to, it's just like any language, you start to really embody those feelings. And what I like about many of these most enduring love songs is that they're timeless, they're universal, and they're timeless in the sense that like you can remember how you felt when you first fell in love or when you first wanted to be in love and you felt unreciprocated love and all those things. So it's all very relatable to me. It feels like a soundtrack in your life. And I think those things, like sometimes when you listen to those songs, it really just takes you back to that moment.
Right. And when you hear if somebody asks like, oh, give me a Thai love song name, the same kind of artists and the same songs, typically they pop up again and again. Like they're very, very popular. And one of the most important artists, I would say, is Boyd Kosiyabong. So I think this is giving out my age a little bit because he was from the early 2000s, I think, this artist. And Boy is known for writing songs that feel deeply personal but somehow universal, right? And through projects like Love Is, very apt name, by the way, and Bakery Music, he shaped the emotional language of Thai pop for the entire generation. And so some of the, the projects that he has done is his song, which is called Rudu Thi Tak Tang, which in English it means seasons changed. And the name of that song is also the same as the 2006 rom-com, which is also called Seasons Changed. I watched that movie and it's actually one of my favorites.
That's great.
And that movie, the pain is framed as a necessary data, right? Without rain, you don't really recognize the sunlight. Without heartbreak, joys, lacks of death, and all that. So basically what Seasons Changes is like a coming of age of, university kids falling in love and having the dilemma, ooh, I kind of like this person, but I also like this person. So the main character is pulled by two different actresses and all that.
Classic love triangle stuff.
Exactly. And so the song kind of refuses the fantasy of permanent happiness, and instead it kind of argues for something sturdier, right? Like patience, perspective, and trust in cycles. And the quiet wisdom here is that suffering isn't a malfunction of life, it's seasons, and of course, Seasons Change.
Ah, you got the title of the
Yeah.
movie in there. I always love that. Yeah, I love this song because I don't think it just boxes it into romance, just pure romantic love.
And it kind of works for Valentine's Day as well. I think it kind of fits in the kind of love that sticks around through the messy, the chaos, the chapters, family stuff, and whatnot. Yeah, all of it.
Yeah, I think that people relate to seasons of their life, and they relate to how the intensity of youth, it will pass. Like, you don't think it'll pass at the time, but it will pass eventually. And love isn't just, clear skies when you have it. It's being patient during those stormy times. It's being there for each other when, life gets hard, as much as when there's something to celebrate. So I think that's why so many people see their own stories in it.
Right.
So our next song is โปรดส่งใครมารักฉันที by Instincts, which translates to Please Send Someone to Love Me, which was the soundtrack to actually 2009's Bangkok Traffic Love Story. And that perfectly captures a really, I think, actually universal feeling. I was going to say a Thai feeling, but I think it's really universal to yearn for love and to want to know what it's like to be loved, because love is something that's obviously romanticized, but we don't, until you do feel love, you're not sure what it's supposed to feel like, right? So it becomes iconic, not just because of the melody of the chorus and everything, but also the moment that it plays in the film. This is where everything feels possible, but also really fragile. Like, it could go either way.
Right. And, it's funny because people kind of joke around that, it's the national anthem for people who hear it in the clubs, because once the song comes out, people just sing, they dance to it, and it becomes like a one big uniform thing inside that space. So you'll hear it from time to time in Thai nightclubs, I would say.
For sure. And now, next, moving straight to our third song, we have Yindi Ti Mai Ru Jak by 25 Hours. And that title translates to Please to Not Meet You. It's perfect for the movie that it's attached to, which is Hello Stranger, which came out in 2010. Now, in the film, two leads are strangers who meet on a trip to South Korea. And, South Korea, it was during the big Hallyu phase, or Hallyu wave. So, South Korea is super big and super important at the time. And they're going on adventures together and falling in love over the time without ever really finding out each other's name,
Right.
So, yeah, I think that's a really interesting premise.
Right. And this one hits a really soft spot for me, kind of sneaky in a way. And it's about that feeling where you don't really need labels or timelines or big explanations. You just want to be close to that person and kind of know how it feels. And yeah.
I think so, too. I think it's one of those things where, if you take away the trappings, I think it's what everybody thinks that is going to happen on a sort of backpacking trip, where you take away the trappings of your normal day to day, and you can be whoever you want to be. And so there's no expectations. You can be free to be the purest version of yourself. And so without these names, they're allowed to be who they want to be. And that might be more authentic to themselves as well.
Right. Thai love songs aren't just all soft pianos and, delicate kind of lyrics. Another big pillar about love songs is actually Thai rock, which is my personal favorite. I love the Thai rock. If you haven't heard of it, please go check it out. And if you've ever been to a Thai live band at a bar or a karaoke night, you know exactly where this is going, because there's a lot of screaming your hearts out moments. People are crying sometimes because it just brings back so much memory.
Right.
The songs are typically very heart pulling, string pulling. So bands like Silly Fools and Big Ass, I mean, that's the name of the band.
Yeah.
And Body Slam basically soundtracked Heartbeat for an entire generation, especially back in the early 2000s, all the way to 2010s, I would say.
I think just like other like sort of really popular songs in Thailand, this is also kind of like you hear these anthems break out in, public spaces, in the bar, in the club. These are songs where everybody, like, as soon as you hear the intro, is like, oh, we know what it's gonna, we know what we're doing now, and then everybody gets up and sings. So yeah, I think there's a lot of big emotions in the room.
Right. I have another song for you here. It's called Ki Hung, or in English, it's called Jealous, and that's by Silly Fools, the band. It's adorable, and it's very honest in a human way. It is about jealousy as we're talking about it, yes, but it's the kind that comes with caring too much or so much for a person and just not having any control over it. And I love how the song owns the flaws instead of kind of pretending that love is always calm, kind, collected, and mature. It's basically someone saying, hey, I know I get a little bit worked up, but it's only because you really matter to me.
Hmm. I think it's actually pretty self-aware, because like it says it in the name. And it's really real for someone who's ever like loved someone and they are not really themselves and they're a bit louder than they actually want to be.
So these kind of songs, there's tons of other red flags kind of genres, but it's just about wanting someone who's, been taken. I mean, other kind of red flag issues, I guess, in the Thai pop culture is like wanting someone so much, but they're already taken by another person. And these themes are just to prove that they love someone so much.
Yeah, I do think it's another pillar of Thai music, and it's really dramatic and emotional and, above all, sincere.
Anyway, so going back to the song, so you've got the boy side of the spectrum, which is soft, gentle, emotionally articulate. And you also got the movie song lane too, which is full of longing, unrequited love, wanting to feel chosen even if it hurts. And then you've got these other type of genres, right? They're loud, they're messy, they're chaotic, slightly unhinged, where jealousy and intensity aren't just red flags, but they're proof that someone cares so much that it can kind of come out the wrong way. And put together, they kind of show how Thai love songs don't chase one ideal version of love. They document all the ways people can actually feel it.
Okay, so our next artist here is Valentine, which I think every Thai person knows, right? And I think that she brings a real intimacy and introspection to Thai pop. I think that her songs are really personal, and I think they feel almost like diary entries. I think everybody wishes that they could just write a diary and that would become a hit, but she's really doing it. And I think this is what happens when Thai love songs, they start to mature a little bit and they start to speak a lot more softly instead of big and loud and dramatic. I think it's the real change from like the 80s and 90s into a more sort of self-conscious, and a more sort of introspective version of, expression. So the song that I really like that, and it's a little bit more recent than the others, is Sakwan Chanta Haidi, which means someday I'll be okay again. And Sakwan isn't just about these grand gestures or these grand displays of love or jealousy or like that. It's about sitting with the aftermath of a relationship. This is the kind of heartbreak where even opening your eyes in the morning, it feels really heavy and you're not sure if you can move on, but you still, like, deep down, you believe that things will be okay eventually.
Kind of like an honest acknowledgement that time can move faster than your heart sometimes.
Yeah, I think what I like about this is that it really focuses in on your own mental well-being. It's I think that when we talk about love, we often talk about that person and what she does to me or what he does to me or things like that. But sitting with yourself and sitting with, who you are and, and how you're processing this, I think it's very mature. It's a very mature kind of perspective. So we are going to go ahead and go to our Thai movies that we think are great for Netflix and chill.
Right. So if Thai love songs are how people feel romance, then Thai romantic films are on an even different level because it kind of makes people learn it a little bit. And for a huge part of the country, that education came from one studio in particular, which is GTH. And you would see this logo anytime you go to your theater, even if you don't watch a movie about GTH, but the preview, you'll definitely see it if you watch Thai movies at all.
Movies that I grew up with, and I thought that was it really took the nation by storm and really catapulted GTH to, to the sort of the reputation that it has today is My Girl or Fan Chan. And I think it wasn't even their first film. It was like their fourth or so. So on the surface, it's a childhood, first love, puppy love kind of story. But then if you really like sit with it, you can see that something else is happening as well, because it's sat in the era that our parents grew up in. It is kind of a recent history piece. I think it's like one decade out, I think, from when it came out. There were all these old radios and cassette tapes and these folk games that you play with kids, and there was music from another time, so it became a nationwide phenomenon because for younger audiences who may not have understood all that subtext, it's a great love story. It's a great innocent love story. But for older viewers, I think that there was a lot of nostalgia. I think that it played upon their memory of being that old and growing and discovering their first love and wanting to be in love for the first time. And so they could say that this is what my childhood really felt like. And that's why I think My Girl worked really powerfully, and it's a great movie for a Valentine's Day Netflix and chill that announced GTH as a studio. And I think it reminded people of themselves. It reminded Thai people of their own culture. They could see themselves in the movie rather than trying to emulate something international or trying to modernize. They could see their culture represented. And so it was all that much more powerful, I think.
Right. And so another story that I really like is Bangkok Traffic Love Story. Now, this one really cemented the idea that Thai romantic comedies could be urban, they could be modern, and still painfully sincere. And it's about a 30-year-old woman whose name is Mui Lee, who is the last of her peers to be married and is really tired of being single. And because pop culture always jokes about how the absolute worst thing that could happen to you is being an older single female. Boo boo. Well, and you can see that theme kind of working universally, like Sex and the City, right?
True.
It has that Western classic kind of feel. Anyways, the movie is funny, it's earnest, and also very heartwarming. Just to see an elder woman, can I even call a 30-year-old elder? I don't think so. Like just to see a woman falling in love for the first time, in theater.
I think that there's such a good entry point for foreigners because you can see that there's all this pop culture vocabulary that if you miss these cultural touchstones, then you might be left out of the conversation a little bit. You might be left out of the memes and the references and the sort of the shared the culture really, effectively that you can't learn in a textbook.
Right. So you're not just watching a movie. You're actually learning the vocabulary that comes with it, all the emotional vocabulary.
Yeah, absolutely. So structurally, there was a big shift in the industry later on. GTH eventually closed, and many of its creators regrouped under a new banner, GDH559. Now, this is the same DNA, updated sensibilities, and GDH leaned into more contemporary relationships. I think some of our best movies of the recent memory have come out through GDH. There's more messier sort of situations, more complicated situations, friends to lovers dynamics, and some emotional ambiguity where neither side really knows how the other person feels or they themselves. So films like 2019's Friend Zone tapped into that very sort of specific and modern experience of where you might have guessed it's about two longtime friends who start having romantic feelings for each other, and they've known each other their whole lives, so the timing has never really been quite right. Like one's always in a relationship when the other one's available, and so neither person wants to ruin a friendship or ruin things for the other person when they don't feel like the stars are aligning for them.
Right, and that one hit especially hard because the chemistry was so real, so much so that the two actors actually got together in real life after they finished filming. So the chemistry was right there on screen.
It's a real Brangelina moment.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
not that ended particularly well, but The film also catapulted Bami's older classic song Kit Mag, or Overthinking, back to the charts. So this time it was like in 5 different languages. And once again, it showcased the power duo between Thai films and Thai music.
And then, we have another cultural phenomena that blurred film and television entirely, like the 2022's Love Destiny, the movie. And this one went viral, it went regional, this one went crazy. And it's basically a lakon, or a soap opera, that became such a phenomenon throughout the whole entire country and region. It turned into a movie even, and it drew massive tourism interest and revived like a fascination about the history of Thailand. And it brought up all sorts of how to call it, like tourist attractions where people had to put on sabayas, or the old traditional gowns of Thai people. So the movie not only, was talking about love, but it actually created love in real life too, I think, with the whole obsession of the history.
Well, I think it was a real like romanticization of Thai period dramas, and it was the first time that we felt like this wasn't just a rehash of something old. It was something that's relevant to us today, and it just, for lack of a better like phrase for it, it just made it cool again. Now when you go to historical sites, you can really get into the character, and you can sort of really cosplay Bupe Saniwad, which is the Thai name of Love Destiny. So it starts with GTH classics and then moves into GDH's more modern takes, I think. But there are, some great other studios. We don't want to, be too favoritism with GDH. So you're going to want to pay attention to the music, and because this is going to come up again and again when you go out with, your Thai friends and you go out into Thai public places and stuff. So the love is usually portrayed as gentle, indirect, or painfully polite in these more modern movies. And once you've done that, now you're ready for Thai series. And we all know that like Thai series feels like a bit more of a commitment. And there is one genre that has taken Thailand global.
Right. And that one is called BL. Do you want to tell the audience what BL is?
I sure do. So BL stands for boys love, and it really, has its roots in the Japanese genre of yaoi, which is also why Thailand calls it Series Y. And it's really between usually same-sex characters. And because it's boys love, it's two guys, but there's also a lot of GL, or girls love, as well.
Thailand really pioneered the BL ecosystems in terms of actors, fandoms, concerts, and even brand deals. And globally, their biggest cultural export became clear. And I think it's very appropriate to see Thailand doing a lot of BL or GL stories, because in Thailand, I would like to think that we're one of the most accepting countries, especially in Southeast Asia, when it comes to the differences in genders and all that.
Yeah, I think it's sort of baked into the culture to begin with. I mean, Buddhism, sort of recognizes all these other gender expressions and sexualities. So, these aren't niche either. They air on major networks, and actors become A-listers with billboards and fan meetings across Asia, South America, and Europe.
Right.
So I think I'd love to like jump ahead real quick and talk about the authenticity and diversity of creative voices in Thailand. I think that's what really gives Thai pop culture its growing appeal on the global stage. And it might actually be a major sustainable engine of economic growth. This is a whole other side that I want to talk about. At the recent CEA forum, it was reported that Thai creative industries are valued at 1.44 trillion baht, and that's 8% of national GDP. And the creative economy tends to recover quite quickly as well when you compare with other sectors after a crisis. So governments have responded accordingly. The Thai government has created an incentive program for domestic filmmakers for projects that are worth at least 50 million baht in expenditure. The filmmaker will get a base tax rebate starting at 15%. So I'd say that we have so much more to look forward to from Thai films. And of course, because they're so emotionally resonant and connected to Thai music. We can look forward to a lot of great pop culture in the years to come.
Right. And now we would like to turn it to our audience. Which of these Thai songs or Thai movies would you love to share with your Valentines this year?
Let us know in the comment section of NBT World's online channels. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Spotify.
Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับ
For years, the lady slipper orchid, known for its unique pouch-shaped bloom, was heavily targeted by illegal collectors. Many of these orchids were smuggled abroad, leaving the species at risk of disappearing entirely from Thailand's forests. Concerned by this rapid loss, Her Majesty Queen Sirikit initiated an effort to conserve and restore native orchid species, particularly the lady's slipper orchid, which holds both ecological and cultural significance. Her late Majesty's dedication to environmental preservation has long been evident in her royal initiatives to protect forests, watersheds, and wildlife. On January 22nd of 1992, while attending the 4th Asia-Pacific Orchid Conference and Exhibition at Ma Zhou University in Chiang Mai, Her Majesty expressed concern that many beautiful Thai orchids were disappearing from the wild. She emphasized the importance of conserving native orchid species to maintain Thailand's natural balance and biodiversity. A year later, in 1993, Her late Majesty discussed the issue with then Lieutenant General Yingyot Chodpimai, commander of the 3rd Army Region. This conversation led to the creation of the Doi Intanon Ladies Slipper Orchid Conservation Project, the first royal initiative dedicated specifically to this rare orchid. The project was established in Mae Hong Son Province to survey, cultivate, and reintroduce the species into its native environment. The project expanded in 2004 when the Department of National Parks, Wildlife, and Plant Conservation established another center in Doi Intanon National Park in Chiang Mai. Together, the two centers have become vital hubs for orchid propagation, botanical research, and reforestation efforts under the royal guidance of His Majesty the King, who continues to carry forward Her late Majesty Queen Sirikit's environmental vision. Today, the Doi Intanon Orchid Conservation Projects safeguard 62 species of orchids, totaling more than 3,600 plants. 10 of those species, about 600 plants, have already been successfully reintroduced into their natural habitats. Beyond scientific work, the project plays an important role in raising environmental awareness among local communities. Residents are encouraged to participate in orchid conservation, helping to prevent illegal collection and fostering a sense of pride in preserving Thailand's natural treasures. The initiative has become a model for ecotourism, offering visitors the chance to experience rare orchids in their natural surroundings while supporting local livelihoods. Through this balance of conservation and community engagement, the project continues to flourish as a living tribute to the Queen Mother's enduring love for nature. The Lady Slipper Orchid now blooms once again across Thailand's northern forests, a vibrant symbol of Her late Majesty Queen Sirikit's boundless compassion and lifelong commitment to protecting the nation's precious natural heritage for generations to come.